Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Nicholas regular meeting of the Nicholas County Board of Education, Monday, June 3rd, 2024. And at this time, please stand for a moment of silent reflection. Thank you. Please join the board with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, approval of the agenda. Do we have anything we need to fix?
The only things we have is on personnel, they're highlighted in red, and when we get to that part of the session, Mrs. Weitzer will read those off to you.
Okay. Next, approve the minutes of the meetings held on May 20th, which was a special meeting, May 20th, the regular meeting, and May 22nd.
Just a minor thing on the May 20, 15A.
Okay, are you in the special or the regular?
Regular.
Okay.
15A, no time, but then when you drop down to 16, it says 8:30 p.m. instead of a.m. That's all. Not just mine.
Oh, that's an easy fix, Ken, right? Okay. Anything else? If not, do we have a motion to approve the minutes of the meetings held on May 20th, the special one, May 20th, the regular one, and May 22nd, 2024?
I so move.
Mr. Moose makes a motion, seconded by Mr. Berry. Any other discussion? All in favor?
All right.
Aye. Motion carried. Anyone against? It's carried unanimously. Superintendent's information updates. Mr. Bean.
You know, every once in a while in this position, I have to discuss things that are a little bit controversial or the public doesn't quite support, and I get that. It's just part of it. But I want to talk about a couple things real quick. It's stuff that I've mentioned all year long, but I just didn't want people to think that I had put this aside and was not going to deal with it. Because both of these items, I can't tell you how many people have approached me about these things and asked me if we was going to do something about these two things. The first one is the cell phones in the school. Now, I'm not out to take the kid's cell phone from them. I'm not interested in doing that. What I am interested in is getting those cell phones put away when instruction's going on. Because there's too many times that I've been walking into classrooms and kids are on their cell phones and they're not doing their schoolwork. I know the difference when I see it on their screens. And I gave this example a while back, and I'll give it again today for those that didn't hear it. I was in a classroom. I will not recognize the school or the teacher, obviously, who I was in. There were 16 kids in a class. And 14 of them didn't even know I was in the room for 10 minutes because they was on their phones. And what was even more disturbing to me is the teacher didn't know the first 5 minutes I was even there. So I knew they wasn't doing their schoolwork because as soon as one of the students noticed it, it spread like wildfire and the cell phones were put away. So, but I've seen this over and over and over. And sometimes I understand the instruction does include using their devices. But most of the time it's not. And most of the time they're playing games. I walk up behind them, they don't even know I'm there, and they're playing games on their phone and all this kind of stuff. It's got to stop. We can't improve instruction if the kids are not paying attention in class. So that's what we're looking at doing. We're not trying to take them out of their hands. They can put them in their book bags. They can use them on the bus. They can use them during their lunch or whatever, but not during instruction. That's the only thing I'm asking, just common sense stuff. So that's item one. The second one is one that the board has already addressed. And Mr. Bryan and I had a conversation about this, and he said, you know, there was a new dress code policy passed recently. It's just not being followed. And that may be very true. But what we're looking at is, you know, sometimes not very politically correct, but I'm just seeing way too much skin in these schools. I mean, it's just that way. And it's very distracting to the teachers and the other students. I've had kids come to me and say, this is out of control. And so we're going to come up with some very specific guidelines on what will be allowed and what isn't. And the reason I'm bringing it up now is because I know people go out and buy school clothes for next year pretty soon. So we want to give them an idea of what that's going to look like. You know, we're not trying to go back into Stone Age this year, but we are wanting to, I mean, if anybody goes in our schools, anybody goes to Walmart, you see the same things that we see in schools. It's very distracting. So that's one of the things we're going to be looking at too, is the dress code. On a lighter note, I want to thank Cindy Whitlock. She just walked in a few minutes ago. She brought us snacks and a food tray this week to provide to us from New River Health. We appreciate that very much, Cindy. And the last thing on my list is to deal with our Glade Creek project. Okay, we hired ZMM to be our architects for our Glade Creek Pre-K 8 project. There's a pre-bid meeting on June the 11th, which all the general contractors who are interested in bidding on that job will meet here at the office and hear all the specifications of what the building's going to look like. They have until the 27th of June then to turn in their bid on whatever that is. And then on the 27th of June, a decision will be made on which general contractor we recommend to be hired. We're pushing this along as quickly as we can because on June 27th is the very last day that we can get it on a board agenda for July 1st to approve the contractor. And that's important because the contractor then has to get bonded, and there's a lot of red tape they have to go through because they are intending on our contractor, Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, is to start breaking ground on the 22nd day of July. So we are on a short timeline on trying to get this project underway. So I just wanted to give the community an update on where we were with that. So pre-bid on the 11th of June, decision on the contract on 27th, on the board agenda for approval on July 1st, and start construction on July 22nd.
And those bids have been advertised.
They have been advertised through the Chronicle, also the Charleston Gazette.
Where are we at on the sewer project at Nicholas County High School?
For the sewer project, I think we have something on the board agenda to approve that grant that we received from the SBA. Kelly, do you know, Alan, do you all know exactly when they're going to start on that project?
They hope to be able to put it out, advertise and put it out for bid in July. So right now we're in the design phase.
But I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think they said they could do an awful lot of this work even when school's in session.
Well, and they're hoping to have a lot of it done before we go back August 12th.
Right, right.
So it may be that if it doesn't line up with board meetings, we may have to have a special one so that we can keep it moving. Because time is critical on that one too, to maximize our time without students in the school.
Where are we at on the bid, or the
The needs project?
needs project for the VOTEC?
On June 12th, in the afternoon of June 12th, we're going to have a walkthrough at the CTE Center. ZMM is going to be there. Mr. Hanshaw, Mr. Stump, Mr. Bayless, Mr. Bean, and myself, and we're going to walk through and come up with a scope of the project. And then ZMM will write up the needs, and then we'll look and see if we need to look at phases to see that, you know, the cost of the project, and submit it as one project, and then also have it broken down to where if the funding is not available for the total project, what's our priority, and maybe do it into a couple years project.
So we were all aware of that, but I wanted you to say that so that everybody else would be aware.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. recognition, West Virginia Golden Horseshoe winners. Dr. Lee and these three students are going to give speeches, right?
Yes, they are. Well, I'm so pleased to present to you some exceptional students this evening. As you know, West Virginia has administered the Golden Horseshoe Test each year since 1931, and it's the longest running program of its kind in the United States. The top scoring students in each county receive this prestigious award, and the exam tests students' knowledge of West Virginia's citizenship, civics and government, economics, geography, history, and current events, and it is considered one of the greatest honors bestowed upon students in West Virginia. It's named after the historic Golden Horseshoe Expedition led by Virginia's governor, Alexander Spotswood, in 1716. The program symbolizes a deep appreciation for the rich history and cultural heritage of West Virginia. Each year, students who demonstrate exceptional knowledge and understanding are brought to Charleston and inducted as knights or ladies of the Golden Horseshoe, earning a place in the long-standing tradition of honor and educational achievement. And I'm super proud to present this year's winner. First, we have Michael Caulfield from Richwood Middle School. Come on up. Noah Roberts from Richwood Middle School. And Jada Bryan from Summersville Middle School. Haven't gotten your pin yet, have you? Not yet? Okay. They're in the same culture this week.
Next was delegations, but we're going to move that to the end. Just kidding. That was his idea. No. All right, first we have Robin Cutlip, the AFT rep, if you would like to come. And so, Mr. Hanshaw?
Just sit on my phone and wait.
That's fine. Your phone is fine. So please tell us your name and where you're from and who you represent, and you have 3 minutes.
All right. My name is Robin Cutlip. I am the AFT rep for Nicholas County and the surrounding counties, and I represent the wonderful teachers of Nicholas County tonight, specifically the ones that are here tonight from the CTE Center. And I'm from Catlin. So I would like to first thank you guys for giving us the opportunity to speak. Your unwavering dedication and support pave the way for meaningful discussion and progress. By allowing us to come here tonight and voice our concerns, it is the first step in the right direction. I've already introduced myself, so I can skip that part. At the heart of our discussion lies a policy that calls for revision. You guys know the policy. Right now it stands that CTE instructors, when they come in out of the field, they receive 8 years of experience, no matter how many years they've worked in the field. So we can take someone that has been a carpenter for 20-some years, and we're going to demean him by cutting his salary and only provide him 8 years of experience. We have nurses, we have people who could own their own business, we have welders. You guys know everybody. We have mechanics, we have electricians. That CTE program is a wonderful program that is giving our students what they need to be successful after high school. A lot of these students would not even stay in high school if it was not from our CTE programs. This is a way to keep them in our schools, it's a way to keep them in our counties, and these ladies and gentlemen should be paid what they're worth. So, we urge you to consider the profound implications of what limiting the 8 years is doing. The Nicholas County Career Center stands as a beacon of excellence within the state of West Virginia. It is recognized time and time again by the State Department of Education. You cannot go anywhere in the state to any public parks or anywhere and not see what our wonderful CTE instructors have been doing with our students. The signs are everywhere. Yet, despite the accolades and the tireless dedication that is exhibited by our educators, we find ourselves faced with this unsettling reality. These people, they come to us wanting to make a difference. They come to us knowing that they're going to take a pay cut, but yet something in them wants to come back. I know our welder, he actually came through the program at Nicholas County. So there's reasons why they come back and want to teach these kids. Someone made a difference to them, they want to come back and make a difference. So it is a testament to their selflessness and their passion that they choose to forgo a lucrative opportunity in favor of molding the minds of our youth. It is with this in mind that I implore you to reconsider our current stance on compensation. Our neighboring counties have recognized the value of honoring experience and expertise, ensuring that their educators receive due recognition for their years of dedicated work experience. 2 of our closest counties actually give 1-to-1. So how we're keeping these great people here, I don't know. I mean, if a job opened up in Fayette or Braxton, I would be on the way out. So we do not want to see that happen. So we implore you to look at this policy. It needs talked about, it needs revised. And we know that you guys care just as much about that career center as all these guys do here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Mark Odell.
I've got some handouts for you here. Keep in mind, I was not an English major, nor a spelling bee champion, nor a Picus. But I did the best I could.
Thank you.
This mic's not working.
Yeah.
Go when ready, or?
Yes.
My name is Mark Odell. I reside in Eddy, West Virginia. I am the carpentry instructor at the Nicholas County Career and Technical Center. Thank you, Mr. Bean, Mr. Prime, and board members. I have given you a handout which shows some of the many accomplishments that have been made at the Career Center over the past 5 years or so. Due to my limited time, I will only touch on a few of those points. First being that the Career Center has increased enrollment each of the past 5 years, with the 23-24 school year having the highest enrollment in the school's history. The Career Center has a 90% placement rate of students into employment or post-secondary education. The Career Center has produced numerous state champions and national competitors through Skills USA, and that's just to name a few. But yet our instructors at the Career Center are among the lowest paid in the surrounding counties and around the state for that matter. This is due to our county's up to 8-year policy that is outdated and quite frankly unfair. Would you expect a 20-year veteran math teacher from another county to come to Nicholas County and accept 8 years of service? No, you don't expect that. You accept the years of service that they currently have, as you should. It's the right thing to do. I am just asking for the same treatment coming from industry. To be instructors, we are expected to have licenses and certifications such as a contractor's license, electrical license, plumber's license, or even a licensed registered nurse who must maintain must have a bachelor's degree. These credentials do not come easily. Often it takes years of training in apprenticeships or on-the-job training before these individuals are even allowed to test. Then we must pay to test, pay to get our license, and pay yearly to maintain those licenses so we can teach. And on top of that, after being hired as an instructor, then we are tasked with going back to school and getting a teaching degree, or certification, I'm sorry, on our own time and largely at our own expense. The baby boomers have all but retired. Gen X has already begun to retire, and with our current competitive job market today across America, I wish you luck with your current 8-year policy filling those instructor positions. In conclusion, reducing anyone's pay at the Career Center in an attempt to show equality is not a fix. It's only adding salt to an already wounded, outdated, and unfair policy. Do the right thing and update this policy to pay our instructors what they deserve and keep the Career Center thriving as the envy of the state. Our children deserve nothing but the best instructors and the best opportunities possible. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Okay, next we have Jaden Reiner.
I'm Jaden Reiner from Mount Lookout. Wanted to touch the subject on the playground for Mount Lookout Elementary. Right now it's pea gravel, and our daughter is sports in a power chair.
He's awesome.
That power chair is roughly 400 pounds. So what we're trying to do is just get something that is safe for her to be able to be included with all the other kids and be able to get anywhere that they should. This past year she went to preschool, and it was similar playground. It's pea gravel, and there's nothing worse than going to school with your kid and watching her have to sit there as all the other kids are playing. She can't get where they can go. It's almost like she's excluded, so to speak. So we've heard talk of the rubber mulch. My wife took her today to the playground in Charleston at Coonskin Park with rubber mulch, and she made it out of our van onto the playground, and that's where she sat. She got stuck. Rubber mulch is not going to work, I don't believe. Even though they say it's ADA compliant, if it's not done correctly, I don't think it's going to work. We sent the videos of her getting stuck to Sarah. Sorry to throw you under the bus, but if anybody would like to see that, we just want a surface that will work. You know, I just don't want to do it and it not work and we have to do it again, so to speak. You know, we just want her to be included. That's where we're at with it. I appreciate you guys giving us the time to present and be able to talk. Thank you.
Normally, we don't ask questions, but I have one that needs asked. Do you have is there material out there? You can want
The boss has that.
We're gonna try to get her.
Hello, my name is Macy Reiner. I am, Melissa Reiner, I'm Macy's mom. So we have talked to the occupational therapist that Macy works with that actually specializes in playgrounds in Taze Valley, and she was absolutely against the rubber mulch. We have talked to several other families with power chairs. Pour and play seems to be, I don't know the cost of it, but pour and play does seem to be the best option for power chairs. I did do a lot of research, and I guess playgrounds are considered 504 in Title II, so it has to be accessible, and that means accessible to her based on her disability. So just because rubber mulch says it's compliant, if she can't access the playground, it's not in compliance with those policies. So they've been really great at working with us at Mount Lookout, so we just want to make sure that that is something you guys are aware of.
Now, what was the material that you?
It's called Pour and Play.
P is spelled?
Pour, P-O-U-R,
Okay.
and Play, P-L-A-Y. It's almost like a I don't know if you've ever been to an accessible playground. There's not really one around here. There's one in Huntington, but it's a very level surface. It's not slick when wet. It's almost got like a rubber appearance. They're usually like really colorful, but they say they can last up to 10 years. They're really low maintenance. Any other questions?
And they pass the safety requirements that the state has.
Yes, and it is the absolute #1 preferred for like for any wheelchairs or mobility device in that aspect. Anything else? Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have presentation discussion, Mr. Stump, Director of Transportation and Maintenance.
Somebody left the phone.
Is it Mark?
Mark's, yeah. Somebody want to call in?
I'll call.
I watched him lay it down up there.
I have just a few things I was hoping to address and talk with you all about this evening. The first of which is had something made aware to us maybe a couple of weeks ago. That kind of came out of the community here in downtown Summersville, and I just want to talk about that first. So the field, the old football field, is now being used. I think it depends on what time of the year it is. It's being used by several different groups. It's the big field in front of the elementary school down there. We do maintain that. It belongs to the board. And when I say we maintain it, typically, for the most part, all we've ever really done there is we mow it. And so we don't rent it out. It's kind of there. A lot of people in the community use it. I believe Little Bears, they use it in the fall, and maybe soccer also. I think soccer uses it. They definitely use it in the springtime. The T-ball and Little League Baseball, there's different groups that go down there and practice, and so it's being used year-round. The issue that we had is, if you've ever gone down there and looked, and I don't know if this has been a reoccurring issue or if it's been more of a one-time thing. At times there's been some trash left down there. And so kind of what I'm looking for a little bit of guidance. I'm hoping to get some guidance from you all on what to do. If you go down there, we really don't have any trash receptacles down there. We don't really have anybody assigned to that field to take care of it. I'll be honest with you, I think Summersville Elementary is a little bit short-handed with custodial staff. I don't think it would be fair to have them come down and take care of that field also. So right now, I think there's one trash receptacle down there. Nobody puts bags in it. I think the city may come and pick that up. For the most part, the groups are pretty good about coming behind and cleaning up after themselves and taking the trash with them. The issue came, we had a lot of trash bags left down there after a tournament was held there, and some animals and things got in the trash, and anyway, it made a pretty noticeable mess. And so that's kind of the issue. And I'm kind of wanting to know what you all would like for us to do. If we do put trash receptacles out down there, it is going to be, there will be some cost to it. One, in putting them there. Two, I'm sure we'll have to make sure they're secured so they're not taken or no one walks away with them. We'll have to have somebody that kind of monitors and goes through and picks the trash up and takes it to a dumpster, replaces the bags. I don't know if you start putting trash cans down there, I don't know how many people will just start bringing their trash in. There's not really a dumpster. The nearest dumpster is up at the elementary school. And their dumpsters, we try to be as efficient as possible with those, and so their dumpsters are typically pretty full throughout the school year. So there's not a lot of room for probably extra trash without getting an extra dumpster. There could be some other solutions, but I was kind of hoping maybe you all would provide some guidance on how you all would like for us to handle that.
Well, if it's one of our gyms, there's a user agreement in place, correct?
Well, there should be.
Okay,
So
and if they leave the gym dirty, then they're charged for it.
they can either be charged for it, or we could say, hey, you're not welcome to come back.
Let me expound on that issue, because I'm aware of that issue. When they had the large soccer tournament that spreads out through Nicholas County, it's in Memorial Park, and they use it down here too. The soccer league has an agreement with the city of Summersville. The city of Summersville admitted that they dropped the ball and didn't get to a week after the tournament. And that trash got spread everywhere. A concerned citizen went down there and actually picked up all the trash, put it in the bags, contacted me. I contacted Michael Young, and he graciously took a truck down there, took the trash away with Nichols Sanitation, no charge, anything. The problem becomes there's just that one receptacle. So this is more an anomaly than a regular occurrence. But the question became of whose responsibility was, because we were mowing it, but I think we were just mowing over the trash. I mean, nobody took that. But I did talk to the city about it. It's their responsibility with soccer when they use that field. Now, the other uses of correct me if I'm wrong, Alan, but the other uses of Little Bear football in the fall and stuff, we've never really had that problem before. The one receptacle, the kids usually bring water bottles and stuff, so they don't have a lot of trash. This was a tournament, and there was no receptacles down there. Now, Michael Young did say he could bring a container in and lock it. The city of Summersville recommended against that. They just feel they kind of dropped the ball and didn't get down there and clean up after that tournament. So I'm not saying that more receptacles might be better, because you just have the one down there. But definitely when there's a tournament or something, the city, or the soccer league. That's just my opinion on it. I don't think it's a reoccurring thing.
Well, we have the same issue with the little field up there at Richwood with Little Jacks leaving their trash. So,
And the fortunate, I guess it's fortunate and unfortunate at the same time. The good thing about that over there is we do have somebody that's assigned to that area that's sole purpose is to maintain, the football field, that area up to the red gym.
yeah, but if people are going to use those areas, they ought to.
They need to
clean up after.
They do, because they're not paying, we run into that in other places too, not just in other facilities too. We won't name names, but we run into that more frequently than we like. I think people look at it as a community service, but what it really does is it really puts a lot of stress and hardships on people that may not be their job for the day. But now it becomes it's just extra workload on somebody. It becomes somebody's responsibility that shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah, I mean, and I can see that. I mean, they're mowing it, but do they get off the mower and pick the trash out and stuff?
Well, I'll take up for them. If you got to shut that mower off and they're constantly get on and off, and that's a big area.
Yeah, we have 2 mowers for the whole county.
That takes a lot of time. People should pick their trash up. It's not that hard. So if it continues to be a problem, then we'll have to enforce user agreements, and if they leave trash, we'll charge them.
Alan, do you know if the one receptacle down there, does it even have bags in it?
I don't even know.
If anybody supply even.
I don't know who even put that down there. I don't believe that's even ours. Could be somebody from the community that just placed that down there for people to use. I'm not sure. I mean, that's,
Well, I agree that people should pick the trash up, but they'll pick it up quicker if you have a couple receptacles down there or something to take it, at least put it in. And then the question becomes, even if it's not an event, who picks that trash up out of the receptacles and where does it go to the, I think that's the direction Alan's looking for.
yeah. I mean, if you all would like, I mean, we can put trash receptacles down there. And I can designate somebody to be responsible for going through and making sure that that's done. So however you all would like for us to proceed, we'll do whatever you all, however you all would advise.
And I really think you are looking at a short-term solution. Short-term being a couple of years, because they will have a city park, which will take that demand off of there. Right now, it's.
Well, and if that field goes with that property, whatever we decide to do with it.
Was the
That
city,
field may not be ours forever.
you're right, the whole facility, was the city willing to pick it up?
Yes, after the tournaments and stuff, but I don't know if they're willing to go down there
On
and
a
police it on a
regular
continuing
basis?
basis, but they had an agreement with the soccer league to do it. And they might, I don't know. They just kind of dropped the ball on that one. They got a little bit out of hand and trashed it.
That could be a conversation we have with the city. I hate to.
I think that would be the first way to go, since it's a public.
I would say if we supply a couple of receptacles down there, you could probably get the city.
Well, I think there ought to be user agreements in place, because if some kid gets hurt, they're gonna sue us if playing football, baseball, whatever. But if you have those user agreements in place,
That is something we discussed this morning, and I have not spoken to the school. That would come through the elementary school, so I'm not sure if they have those in place, but that's something we'll definitely make sure that school has those in place.
we'll have to do that in the future also. I mean, I know my wife uses Panther Creek, and she has a user agreement in place.
Yeah, that's the policy.
And if she leaves the place a mess, then it's on her.
Yeah, and if it becomes a problem, then she wouldn't have access.
Right.
Yeah. The deal is you leave it in the same condition that you found it, or better.
Well, I think you're dead on. I think Jeff's dead on. If we have use degrees, and that's policy, then we need to consistently enforce that policy and those agreements. I totally agree with that on all of our properties.
I mean, somebody gets hurt or they leave it a mess, and I don't have a problem with them using it, don't get me wrong. I mean, school property, public property, can
Right.
be used, but at the same time, it needs to be respected.
Yeah. I think the problem becomes with a lot of the groups using the facilities, they're volunteers with nonprofit groups. And so it ends up being one or two people taking care of you. I mean, anyone that's volunteer knows how that
I know.
goes. And that becomes a problem, and then all of a sudden we're the bad guys because.
Well, we're the
we have
bad
to-
guys either way, because the public goes by there and they see trash there. And they
That's
say,
true.
"Well, why don't the board clean that up?"
That's true.
And
Alan, I think you need to get with the Little Bear Football Association. They've got a little bit of money, they are nonprofit or whatever. Have them put a receptacle down there and get with the Soccer Association. Those are the two main users. And if baseball, I don't know that baseball uses that much anymore, but if they use it, they can all put a receptacle down. That would be their donation, and then sign a user's agreement and hold them responsible would be my direction.
All right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you all. Then I've got two more things. The next one, I just kind of want to give you an update on this. It's kind of been a pressing issue. A few weeks ago when we had the storms come through, We had down at the Veterans Memorial Field, at the football stadium, we had pretty good windstorm come through and did a little bit of damage. One of the major pieces of damage was stadium light pole snapped in half, which is completely destructive. You know, it snapped in half. It actually landed in a Little League field. None of the lights on that are salvageable. So immediately we started looking for the cheapest option to fix that. And the lights we have down there right now are the metal halide lights, and we've talked about this with the Richwood field. Right now, those have more or less become obsolete. We're having almost an impossible time finding somebody that will sell us, or where we can find those types of lights to put back up. It's going to look really bad if we put back up a wooden pole with LED lights on it. You're going to have all metal halide lights on all your other poles, and then one LED. And these light companies are only selling LED lights right now for stadium lighting. So honestly, I don't have an exact answer for this yet. We're able to, if we can locate some metal halide lights, and I'm working on that. We could put up a wooden pole. We could get a wooden pole put up pretty cheap. And I have somebody that sells the pole. We have somebody that will put the pole, take the old pole out and put the new one in, and with the lights on it. But the only problem right now is finding that kind of light. I have a couple things we're working on. I'm talking to Fayette County. They're replacing their stadium lights right now. And so trying to talk to them very nicely about possibly selling us or donating us some of their old lights, but they told me they had some plans for those, but they would consider it, and I'm waiting to hear back from them on that. So that's an option. The other option, we're really hoping that the insurance company will look at it as if you had siding damage on your house, and that siding was discontinued, and you can no longer match that color anymore, and so they come in and pay for all new siding. We're hoping maybe we can get the insurance company to put up all new lights. That's what we're hoping for. Next case scenario would be they definitely pay for one pole, so that would get us a fourth of the way there. However, you all know the cost of stadium lights. We've talked about it. We'd probably be looking at $300,000 that we'd have to make up. Long term, at some point, stadium lights are going to have to be replaced at some point. So you do it now and take
You're talking about $400,000, 75% would be $300,000.
Yeah.
Just for the Nichols Stadium where it was damaged.
Yes.
If you're gonna do it on that side, and we've been discussing the Richwood side, you're looking at another, is it there 4 poles over there?
Yeah.
Another $400,000.
Yeah, so you're looking at, to do both sides of the county, you'd be looking at $800,000. And so, that's a lot of money for lights. If you're just doing one stadium at a time. I know we've been talking about Richwood, the Richwood lights, but right now we have one pole that's non-existent. So do you go ahead and take that insurance money for the one, and then go ahead and, because in my opinion, I think all the lights should match. I think they should all be the same. That's just my opinion.
Now, for the fall football season, can it operate with three poles? It has to have it, or you have a dead area? Do you have to have that 4 pole? I'm just curious.
The football people are saying it's too dark down there. We need that other. But right now we have. There were 6 poles. There were 6, but I think with the new type of lighting coming in, you're only putting four back in. But they're saying that back corner near the scoreboard is probably too dark.
They have
So-
any facilities money?
Their facilities money, I think, went to, they have no facilities money because that went to
Units?
the turf.
Oh,
How much is the insurance going to pay?
We don't know yet. We're asking them to pay all of it.
The only difference between the LED lights and these lights is you're saying they don't look good, but they provide the same amount of light.
Well,
So why would we replace all of them when we only need to replace one?
brighter.
I
It's not
think,
just to look, the LED lighting is much more cost efficient to run. About every industry and everything you're going to, going away from those halogen lights and go to LED, because they're, from an electrical bill standpoint, they're a lot more efficient, and they produce a lot more light. Yes, they look different, you're gonna have a look different if you put just one versus the other three, that's what
I think,
But it's more than just the look.
I'm not a lighting expert, but I think if you start mixing the different types of lights, you're gonna have maybe possibly some depth perception issues. And, I mean, you imagine you go into your house and you put in two very different types of lights. It can throw your sight and vision off and could become a safety issue.
Yeah, but if I only have one bad light, I would replace them all.
could play to your advantage.
Good. So that's kind of where we're at. That's kind of where we're at with that. I'm also waiting on a little bit of information from the WVSSAC on their how they feel about it. So that's something that we're trying to kind of move on this quick because August will be here soon.
I've learned about, and you probably can't get it done, this may be a Kelly question and a Terrence question, but they're learning more and more about these MIP, these major improvement plans that you gotta have. They will not qualify for lighting. Is that, I see you're shaking her head.
Especially probably not stadium lighting for sure, I would say. I can't imagine.
And that'll be a year away from you finding out.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, you'd have a timing issue, I will.
So that's something we have going on. I just wanted to kind of fill you all in on that. That's something we're working hard on. I'm really hoping that Fayette County will pull through and be able to help us out. But I mean, there are no guarantees with that. I've called several lighting places and
The pole snapped,
Everyone's
did it
striking
destroy
out.
the lights? The pole snapped, I know. Did the light fixtures themselves, it destroyed it?
yeah, that falling that far, those are, they're probably close to 80 feet off the ground. Yeah, they were completely, none of them were salvageable. So,
Well, you'll have to bring it back to us, different costs on different things, and because right now, we're watching our
oh
pennies
yeah, definitely.
until we get
Yep,
our bids back and things.
right. So that's,
I wonder time-wise, if you got you open in September, first September football?
Yep.
Wonder how long it would take to get them up and stuff. So when does that decision have to be made, by July 31st?
I'm waiting to hear from the lighting company. They were supposed to contact me today, and they didn't get in touch with me. I think they could probably do it fairly quickly. The good thing, I mean, the one positive thing about replacing it is, and it's the same thing that I mentioned with the Richwood Stadium lights, is that they come with a 20-year warranty. We don't have to touch those lights. Typically, we have to rent a lift once or twice a year to work on lights, and you're looking at close to $5,000 every time we rent one that is that big.
But if you can't find the other lights, and I understand wanting uniform lighting around the stadium, but, you know, we got 3 months to figure this out. If they will only, let's say the insurance company says we'll pay for the one,
Yeah.
then we're gonna have to do something.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do something.
Even if it isn't uniform lighting.
Yep, so, and that's what I'm waiting to hear back from the SSAC to see if that's even acceptable. And the other problem that comes with that is if you do put that up there, the lighting companies aren't gonna provide any warranty unless it's done up to their specifications. And So we wouldn't be able to put it on a wooden pole, it would have to be on a metal pole, and that's where the cost comes.
But if you did decide to phase them in, just so that we have all the correct information, if you decide to do one and then turn around next year do the other, or trying to manage your cash flow that way, it would be fair to say that all those county lights are the same. So if you took them off one field, you could fix one field with halogen and one with the LED, and have two fields operating, and then phase that in later. I mean, I'm just letting the board know an option. I mean, it's, there's lighting there. There's eight some lights.
Yeah.
You can make 4 out of that,
Right.
and do an LED lighting.
I wouldn't want to make the decision who got what.
Well, I think it may be a 2-2 vote, and you break the tie, Mr. Brown. I'm just saying,
I
if
know
you're
what
looking
you're
at
saying.
cash flow, that's, you know, you would.
You're right.
You would look at that with a plan to phase it in.
See if you can get that one off bait, can we?
I'm working on
I
that.
mean, that'll be a temporary fix, I understand.
It is, but it's a fix, and buys us some time. So I just love bringing you guys positive stuff. That's, Mr. Beam loves when I call him because it's always.
I hope that's all you have.
Although, I do think it's like the turf, that the board needs to accrue money. When we put that turf project in, and that's previous boards and stuff, but I was with a group of citizens to help put that in, and we were told how long that turf field would last, and we asked the board to accrue money into a special account to be able to replace that turf when it came. Same way with these lighting. If we're going to, I agree that LED lighting is much more efficient. It works, everything's going to it. These are going to be dinosaur lights, you're not going to find any parts.
It's probably cheaper to run too, right?
They're definitely a lot cheaper to run, and they're just a lot better and a lot cheaper to run. So you got to start planning for that, even if we can't do it now. I mean, Alan's brought this before us, that we say, okay, how much do we need to start putting to aside, and have the budget director do that until you can get that and buy those.
Because it is coming, I mean,
It's coming.
The lights have already become obsolete. We were able to kind of scrap some stuff together and basically go up and redo a lot of the lights over in Richwood to make sure they're functional, to make sure they're not going to catch on fire, to make sure they're safe. But they are, something's going to have to be done at some point.
And I know it doesn't kick in until 25 or 26, but our good citizens, passed the levy, and we have more money in that levy for maintenance, if I remember. I know we did security. I thought we did maintenance also. Kristen,
I'm sorry.
I thought we increased the levy call in the category of maintenance. I know we did security. So I think we did maintenance, so there will be some extra money kicking in. I think it's a couple $100,000, if I remember right.
How much do we put back per year now? What is it, 10,000
For turf,
for the
Yes.
turf? Yeah,
20.
20 a year. And you got to remember, we have 2 schools. So if you're going to put 20 back for Nicholas County schools stadium, then you're going to have to put some money back to take care of the things that are necessary for the Richwood School as well.
Which we do, Mr. Maris, we do with the grass field. I mean, if you've been over there this past year, and right now, the grass, we have it looking great. We put close to 12, I think probably close to $12,000 into maintaining that grass field. And it's probably one of the nicer grass fields in the state.
But you'll always say AstroTurf's better, so why don't we put AstroTurf there? How much do we put aside for Richwood per year?
For their turf,
Uh-huh.
or for their field?
For their field,
We don't put aside anything, but we pay those expenses as they're incurred.
we don't put aside anything. We also pay expenses at the other field as well.
I don't think that the expenses at the field that is turfed are nearly as much as the ones that we pay, that agronomic.
Yeah, we put $10,000 to $12,000 into maintaining that grass, just the field, and that's not counting your paint the paint, the man hours that go into maintaining it too.
Does that count the mowing?
Yeah.
I'm not counting the mowing. That is just treating the field, going through the fertilizer, all the different, I think that we do,
That you don't have to do with turf.
we do, yeah, well, you don't
Kevin
have to
did
do
a study
that.
of that a year or two ago, and we spent twice as much on the Ridgewood fields we did on the turf field.
Actually, I think that we looked at that at the beginning of this year. Again, I think I sent you guys his analysis of that previously, but I can look that up and send it to you again.
Well,
But
you know,
in the long run, turf is cheaper than grass.
Yeah, I'd like to make one statement here. You're comparing apples and oranges when you're comparing a grass field and a turf field. So I don't think you have to allocate exactly the same amount of money for each. The grass field may end up cost me more than the turf over the long run. I don't know which. But you can't say, I will treat both those fields the same because they're not the same fields. I mean,
No.
you gotta take care of both of them.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be an apples for apples.
It's kind of like comparing carpet to hardwood. So,
Different expense.
what's your other item, sir?
Okay. Sorry to take up all your time this evening. The other thing was, I did want to let you all know that we have been working on trying to come up with a solution for playground to make sure that our playgrounds are ADA accessible. We have looked into some different options. If you're looking at ADA, just being ADA compliant, honestly, you could go even as far as saying the wooden mulch, and a lot of places has considered that. So currently, at some of our schools, we do have pea gravel, it's not good. It's easy to maintain, lasts forever, but as far as being ADA compliant, it's not. And so we're probably going to have to start moving away from that. And so we are looking at some different options. The mulch is by far the cheapest. To look at probably a typical playground here in our county, you're looking at for rubber mulch. And the rubber mulch we're looking at is a little bit different than what you might see at some of the places right here. Kanawha County Schools have actually used this. They're the ones that kind of advised me on this. They've converted just about all of their playgrounds to this type of rubber mulch. It has no wire in it. It is more compact than what I think there's a couple places around here that have some of that mulch. It's a little bit thicker and kind of digs out a little bit easier, but this stuff is not supposed to do that. It's supposed to be pretty solid surface, and so it's going to typically cost, I'm going to say close to $35,000 to replace the pea gravel with this mulch. We do have to have something down in these playgrounds because you have to have a certain amount of fall material that's required and all that. So it's not like you can just put a playground out with a grass field and call it good. You have to have fall material, which could be mulch, could be pea gravel, it could be either type of mulch. The other option is they do make something called a pour and play. And as far as maintenance goes, that probably is the best. That could be the best option as far as some things go. But you are looking at it lasting only about 10 to 12 years. And the cost on that's going to be closer to $150,000 starting out. And so the price tag is a little bit high on that.
150,000. It kind of depends on the size of the playground, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah. So.
Could you give me a ratio of what a pea gravel or mulch would cost to pour and play? Is pour and play 2 times the cost, 3 times the cost?
You're looking at pea gravel. It might
5
be
times.
pea gravel might be 5,000 to 10,000.
Well, I know, but I don't want to talk about any area that you take, so you're thinking that 5 times?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I probably more than that.
So you're looking at 5 times the cost to, but you're saying that that peak gravel has to be replaced and updated and maintained every year?
Not very often. Every now, if it spills out, you can kind of rake it. As long as we have the playground barriers that hold it in. As kids take it out in their shoes or throw it out into the grass or things like that, you may have to replace it. You're talking about a very small amount.
They do carry it in their shoes.
They do.
And it scratches your hallway.
I hate pea gravel. I mean, I hate walking in it. I'm too cheap to buy new shoes, and so I get those little holes in the back of my shoes. And you walk through pea gravel, and you got pea gravel stuck in your shoes, and it rattles when you walk. I hate it. I do hate pea gravel, but that is something we're trying to look at.
So we need an estimate on each of those, but we need to know the square feet, don't we, of the approximate area?
Yeah, so I'm kind of giving you a ballpark average of what a playground size would be. Our playgrounds are different sizes, so on average, I'm just saying, you're looking at pea gravel we already have in a lot of places. Mulch, you're probably looking at, I'm gonna say maybe 5 to 10,000. Wood for wooden mulch, rubber mulch, you're looking at about 35,000, and a pour and play, you're looking at about 150,000.
So we can get some dimensions of our playgrounds. We can measure our play areas and then get an estimate of what they would be, and get a more pretty good idea of what the cost would be.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what I'm doing.
This might be a Sarah question. To be ADA compliant, does the whole playground have to be that? Or can you have a section of it? Or, not that we're trying to limit them to where they're going, but for money purposes, right now.
I think the whole thing really needs to be ADA compliant, yes.
That's what I figured.
To be accessible, yes.
When you get that thing stuck, somebody's gonna get hurt trying to get it unstuck.
Oh, yeah.
Been there, done it, I know.
That rubber mulch is called jelly bean.
Yeah,
if
the
you're curious.
type of mulch I'm looking at is called, where I've got the quote from, is jelly bean mulch. They're the only ones that make this type of mulch.
It's not the same thing that you buy at Lowe's in the bags.
No,
And it's not
different.
like Friends Are Fun, it's not like theirs either. If you're
It's a
familiar
little
with that,
bit-
it's different.
It's a little bit smaller pieces. They make this like what you might see at, there's a private school nearby that has it. A lot of the mulch you'll see like you get at Lowe's, that'll be grinded up tire, things like that. This is just for, this is made just for playgrounds. The type of mulch that I've researched is made just for playgrounds. I've talked to, like I said, I've talked to some other, I've talked to Kanawha County, and they've gone to this at just about every one of their elementary schools. And I've asked about different types, and they say they have not had any issues.
So Brim, they're okay with pour and play?
Brim would be fine with pour and play. Yeah, they would be.
It just doesn't, you'd think you'd want to have a little give to it.
It does, but it's almost like a rubber, but it's just kind of like bonded together. And
the picture on the internet looks like it's about that thick.
Not like a wrestling mat or something.
yeah, it's just kind of it's got a, and that's why it only lasts about 10 to 12 years, because that starts to break down. And with that, you do have to go in and do a little bit more extensive work as far as, just like putting a turf field down, you've got to go in and do drain work and work on some base layers.
Well, in my mind, it's obviously that we've got some maintenance issues as well as some replacement issues, as well as we learned earlier with the CTE, some cost issues that we do have to discuss. So Mr. President, I think it's more appropriate personally that we put it on a future agenda, but I think each department needs to submit their request and get with Kristen, our budget director, and prioritize and list all these so the board can prioritize in what order you're going to address these things, because it's easy to sit here and make a decision on one thing, but that one thing is going to knock out other things. I personally still don't have a grasp, and maybe y'all do, of, we got lights, it sounds like we've got playground issues, it sounds like we've got some competitive salary issues, and I think this board's in total agreement from what I've listened to in the short time I've been here, that academics has to have a lot of priority in getting our teachers and stabilized and competing with some of these adjoining counties. Not that anything's more important than the other, but you're going to have to sit down and figure out where the money's going to come from and how you're going to budget it. So I think your department sounds like it has some requests. I think all these departments, if I was running my businesses, each of my departments head would be submitting a budget, and then we would be going over that budget, and I think that's what needs to happen personally.
Probably need to know which schools, not that we won't do them all, but which schools would need to be done first.
Right. Yep, definitely.
I think you need some direction.
So,
Okay.
all that to decide nothing, because we can't take any action on any of those items, but you need to get us the price on those lights and talk Fayette County out of them. And
On the lights, we're going to we'll try to do them all if the insurance will replace it. But
well, yeah, the insurance will.
That's
I don't think that's going to happen.
That's goal number one. I don't think they will either, but
no, I think, yeah.
I think we have to try, because I do think they need to make us, like we've talked about, it was a natural disaster, they do need to make us whole.
If you can get some direction from SSAC, and they say they have to match, then
That's what we're hoping.
present that to the insurance, and be a good salesman.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Now, one thing I didn't hear, and I've heard from the past from the public, and maybe I've even heard from you all, doesn't the stadium in Nicholas County at the Memorial Park, isn't it going to require a lot of maintenance?
The
Stadium itself.
Yeah, if you're talking about the bleachers and.
I'm talking about the stadium,
Yes,
whatever that is. I
yeah.
heard it has structural cracks underneath.
There are a lot of issues.
See, I think all that has to be put down so that you're looking at the.
We haven't talked about that this year. You're looking at, I had a group come in last year and got us an estimate on that, and it was going to be to repair the stands. That's close to $350,000.
No, I'm saying I would feel more comfortable knowing whatever department is requesting, so that then the board can make decisions on.
Maybe come up with a long-term game plan.
Yeah. Maybe a 5-year plan or 10-year plan of how you're going to face those.
I agree, because there's a lot of issues in the county. I'm not going to talk about all of them. I've talked about enough. Good. Get told to sit down.
Action items, number 9A, discussion.
Nope, you got one.
Oh, that's what skips there. Sorry. Alan took your whole time.
He sure did, and he brought you bad news. I guess I get to bring you the good news.
Sorry.
You need a little good news, don't you?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Bean asked me to inform you and update you a little bit about our recent review of the ESSER funds. So they've completed the reporting and monitoring process for us. And upon WBDE's reporting and monitoring procedures, they've determined that there were no necessary clarifications, justifications, or corrective action plans required at this time. And we are the first county out of 55 to be able to attain this. So kudos to Kristen and Sarah, because our documentation and reporting procedures were fully compliant with all of their guidelines, and they've done a fantastic job with keeping the record keeping up to date. So it was easy to submit, and we're going to keep up the whole process and get ready for the next ARC reporting, and then the thorough December's monitoring of all federal programs.
Thank you.
Got the news there.
See, Alan, how we like her much better. Okay, now, action items A, discussion with possible action on the renewal MOU with SESC for 3 information technology specialists. So, that will be our 3 TIS. No, sorry, you're right.
So that's the same job that we had
For
several years.
Several years.
Yeah, same people, I assume same people.
Yeah, you don't, Chris, you don't have to repost these or anything, it's just a technicality, so.
Yeah.
Anybody?
That's renewal.
Right, anybody have any questions? Okay, if not, I'm going to move on to action item B, discussion with possible action on the renewal MOU with SESC for payroll personnel employment. That one did change a little bit, correct?
Is that one different, Christie?
No, it's the same agreement that we have done before, just limiting those hours. The hours are the same. It's the same agreement. We pay an admin fee to them for employing that for us. So that part did change.
Be the same as last year, this past year.
Yeah, our agreement with the SCSC is the same.
But the hours themselves have been set a little bit or something, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
their
that's what I
agreement
was-
with hers would be a little bit different.
Okay.
But yeah, our agreement with them is the same as that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, if there's nothing on that, discussion with C, discussion with possible action on the renewal MOU with SESC for bus operator training and examination. Mhm.
I think that works out pretty well, doesn't it, Warren? Mark, is the bus training with,
Alan.
or Alan, I'm sorry, I'm calling you your dad's name.
It's his name too. It's his name too, he just.
Oh, yeah. The bus training that we use have been using the last couple of years works well.
It does, yeah, it does. We're having 2 to 3 bus classes a year right now. And it is helping us keep up.
Recruit and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, if there's no discussion on C, we'll move to D. Discussion with possible action on the contract with the Summersville Arena and Conference Center for the Clay Center exhibit September 29th through October 4th.
What will that consist of?
In order to host the Clay to Go STEM activities for students, you have to have a venue that's large enough and that students can visit to do the activities, and then it has to be able to be locked in the evenings, because that what will happen is they will bring us the truckload of stuff at the beginning of the week, and they actually will train us on how to monitor and implement it And then they sign it out to us for the whole week. And then they will come back on Saturday and pick it up. And we do not have a facility that's large enough to host it, to be able to let all of our kiddos, grades 2 through 6, experience it.
But it's self-contained then, right? It's self-contained. Yeah, I mean, they don't have to be there. And they
Right,
don't-
the Clay Center people will
Right.
not be there. They'll train and we'll have some of the high school students to be able to help as well. And then there are like 15 stations each of the kids will be able to get to experience.
Okay.
And then basically they come to us and then we can just bus the kids here to the Armory rather than try to take kids all the way to the Clay Center.
Federal programs.
Federal programs for well-roundedness, yes.
I just asked because I want to go.
Yes, yes. I'm really excited for it. I think the kids are going to love it. And then they send ahead of time all of the lesson plans and things so the teachers can kind of preload some of the content and then be able to follow up on it throughout the year.
Any other questions for Dr. Lee?
The next two are mine too. Lester Lehman is an author and specializes in building vocabulary through read-alouds. If you remember back, we had Anna Smucker for a couple schools, and I believe you asked for just somebody else did it. We weren't able to get him in this year, so we're going to start off right in the fall with addressing some of the other issues for other schools.
Yeah.
It says student groups will be grades 2 to 3, comma 4 to 5, comma and 6.
Yes.
Those are,
Those are the targeted areas that, based on our data, we're really struggling with vocabulary development. So what I'm going to try to do is work with several of the schools where we can put more than one grade together. So even if we have to find a communal location, and he will model some of the read aloud and some of those instructional strategies while doing the read aloud with those groups. Then at the end of the day, he's going to do a more in-depth strategic professional development with those teachers. So they have seen him do it, then they can put on that teacher hat in the evening and break down all the strategies that he's modeled for them.
okay, so student participation. then-
Student and
kids,
adult.
and then-
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
That way they can see it and be part of it, and then also debrief and figure out all the, so that they can turn around and do the same types of things.
Right, okay, thank you.
Did you say the next one was yours as well?
Yep, it's me too.
Go ahead.
You got questions on it? What I try is a curriculum and training that Mrs. Rapp believes would benefit NCHS through, they're having some issues with student apathy and kids not wanting to participate, do the things that they need to do, and that's their area of expertise. If you remember at the last meeting, we talked about that I'd given each school a lump sum out of art to address and plan and prepare for the future. This is one piece of their school-based academy that they would like to pursue.
I can't read some of this. It's not typed. It's, I had trouble with some of the words. Is it possible for you to read that off? Targeted audience?
Oh, yeah, that's
And
Mrs.
action.
Rapp's plan. That's not part of the contract, that's just where she was showing me
Yeah.
what she was hoping to address.
Uh-huh.
Her contact, if you scroll down, it starts off with Christian Moore. And he's part of that company.
Which part are you having trouble with, Mr. Moody?
The first part.
Targeted audience?
Targeted audience, all that.
Staff from core and non-core wishing to work with at-risk students that are in need of additional
That word, whatever that is.
Support.
support
Oh,
for
support,
academics,
okay.
attendance, anxiety, and apathy.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, I had each school develop their plan on how they would spend their lump sum. So that's kind of like her wish list.
Sarah, how was this funded?
ARP. Did the ARP recovery funds. And the next one's not.
And this is at,
It'll be at her
Nichols
school
County
with
High
her
School?
staff.
Nichols County High School?
Mhm.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay, G, discussion with possible action on the grant contract with the School Building Authority of West Virginia.
This is just a formality of us accepting the $1 million that the SBA gave us to fix the sewer system in Nichols County High School.
Yeah, that's not an issue.
No, I don't
We
think
would
it
take
is.
their $1 million.
We'll take the $1 million gladly.
I'm sorry, this other one for science teachers, it's the same?
Yes, she's
Okay.
gonna have a day where she just works with her science teachers.
Okay, okay.
I'm sorry, Mr. Moose. I
I'm
thought
sorry,
you were
excuse me.
saying.
I didn't,
Any other discussion on A, B, C, D, E, F, or G? If not, do we have a motion to accept action items A, B, C, D, E, F, G?
So moved.
Mr. Ferguson makes a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Green. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Consent items, finance.
Okay, I don't have very much this evening. So, first item is payment of current invoices, and all of those were in your packet.
Is M&H Construction, are they paid up now? As far as, I missed a call today.
Yeah, well, this one, it's, you know, we print the check and then we hold it until everything comes back through approved.
Right.
So, yeah, so we
Is
don't
this their
have,
last one?
well, this won't be the last one. They still have some maintenance that they're doing on, what they call that erosion and sediment control.
Right,
and
yeah.
mowing. So they haven't invoiced us for those things yet.
There was some discussion on that today on it.
Okay.
The main thing was we're still holding some pretty good retainage. See the bid before.
Oh,
So
That'll be
we'll
the
hold on to
final-
that
that'll
one
be
until
the
we get
final
funds for
step.
it.
Yeah, the release of the retainage, if they could get, the way I understood it, if they could get comfortable with how they're going to do the maintenance agreement, they can release more of the retainage, but they'll always hold a little bit of retainage by, and they've got some pretty good retainage. in them. So it's up to date as far as what the architects have approved
Right.
for us to pay. We're up to date.
Okay.
But there'll still be some other things coming.
And our highlight is first.
Yeah.
So I'll just do, I'll use mine. And then I'll upload them individually too. You can-
okay, anything on the payment of current invoices, anybody? Okay, Kristen.
Okay, the next
thing is contracts. The first one is Inspiring Dreams Network. That is, I guess that's professional development for Richwood High School.
That's one of the things they want to use with their art academy.
Right. And then behind that are several agreements with Appalachian Office for all of the school's copiers.
Now, Inspiring Dreams, is that going to be for the students or
That's for his staff.
just for the staff?
Yeah, they provide training on what they consider to be ACEs, which are adverse childhood experiences, and how to deal with that, but basically do social emotional learning.
So yeah, that'll come out of the COVID funding, like the other things that Sarah had discussed.
Do you have anything on Appalachian Office products?
It's waiting on these contracts, it's good waiting on it.
It's in that contract.
Okay.
You just keep scrolling.
And it's all kind of,
The first page of it, the other one.
Doesn't have to be until.
There's copies and stuff for every school in the county. It's kind of just some.
So,
they're all listed individually.
should I just leave it alone?
Oh, okay, yeah.
There's all the schools on there. And if you go behind SEC, I've got mine loaded up with those. See?
Yeah, gotcha.
Right here, so-
I remember seeing that.
Yeah, it starts there, and there's just a bunch of them. It's all the schools on the same page.
On here, college.
Yeah.
That's on the art stuff.
Any other questions for Kristen?
Okay, next is out-of-state travel. Looks like there's just the one there, funding sources. Is that title funds? Okay. And then the next thing is, looks like releasing a student between counties.
They're, am I reading that right? They're gonna drive to Denver, Colorado, lease vehicle? Well, that's interpretation, I guess.
No, they're gonna fly.
Out-of-state travel lease vehicle request, conference, Denver, Colorado.
I guess that's just the heading slash lease vehicle. And she doesn't say
They're
it
not
there,
going
but
to-
yeah, they're gonna
okay.
fly.
We're going to try to do Colorado. No. We'll fly here. Stay right.
What's ISTE?
Text, the first part's what, Chris, International Society for Technology Education, or is it International something? Yeah. Technology education is basically what it is.
Anything else? Okay. Thank you. Here's this, Kristen. Your tab came off, so you better check. You better check. Well, she better check, see if I find it. All right, do we have a motion to accept the consent items, finance 1 and 2? B, out-of-state travel leased vehicle request, and student release from Nicholas County Schools to Fayette County.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Mr. Barry makes a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Ferguson. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And personnel.
Good evening.
Good
We
evening.
have a few additions that were late getting in under professional. They're in red on the second page. Andrew Gilson, employed as a social studies teacher, Richwood High School. Holly Beckwith, employed as Save the Children literacy program and after-school coordinator. Leslie Gibson, employed as a third grade teacher at SES. And Annie Johnson, employed as a Title I facilitator teacher at MLE. Also, Ashley Muscary is a substitute bus operator. And then under summer, we need to strike through Laura Dennison. That position is not going to be needed this summer. And then under resignations, striking through Jessica Schaefer and adding Joseph Dawson, Matt Lilly, and Blake Billinger.
Any questions? Okay, do we have a motion to accept the personnel agenda?
So moved.
Mr. Moose makes a motion, seconded by Mr. Green. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. That brings us to reports. SESC, Mr. Ferguson.
I have nothing to report on, but I've lost track of my meetings. I might have missed the last meeting. Mr. Bean.
There was a very brief SESC meeting last Wednesday, and it was basically going over the budget for the SESC this year. And they did tell us that, as you, I think, Christian will be able to answer this better than I can, but I think we did receive a little kickback from the SESC for,
Yes.
and they said that it looked like that they had made a profit again this year, and we should be receiving, I don't know how much it is, they haven't figured that out yet, but it looks like we'll be making a little bit of money on the SESC.
Last year, it was 20-some thousand, I believe, that we received.
We'll take it if we get it.
Yeah.
That's all they really talked about was the budget.
Okay, thank you. Bright Horizons, Mr. Green.
Nothing like that.
Okay,
Missed the meeting last week.
all right. Items for future agendas. I don't know, should we put on there about the lighting? I mean, we want to wait until Alan sees what he finds out. We have to move on that pretty quick.
I think he'll get you an estimate and bring it to the board as a discussion item. So we'll try to get you something by the 17th. I'm going to call David Price at SESC, the WSAC tomorrow and see about the uniform lighting, see if that's going to be an issue.
How about cell phone use policy? You want to relook at that?
I'm going to have policies on the June 17th agenda. There'll be several policies.
There is a cell phone policy, and we adopted it not too long ago. The problem is, it's not being enforced. And that's up to your teachers and staff.
And it's very similar to the dress
Well,
codes.
one of the things, though, it has elementary and middle together. And we have looked at doing elementary, middle, and high school so that each level has a distinct policy that they can follow.
Well, once again, we can look at it again, but we can adopt all the policies in the world, and if they don't enforce them, and then they complain to us, you know, they catch us out and say, well, what are you gonna do about this? It's not up to us, it's up to them to enforce them. All we can do is put the policies in place.
One of the
100%
principals,
agree.
one that
What
got
gets
the policy
monitored
up.
gets done.
So,
With the selling policy.
Yeah, the principals was here, kind of set the guidelines for that.
yeah, it was a 4-year time.
Are we going to revisit during your policies and procedures, what was brought before the board of the delegation of the CTE? We will actually set that as a personnel or agenda item? Or do we need to go into executive session and discuss that at some point? I think we need to follow up on what was brought to us personally, at least have a discussion on it.
And we can do that either as a work session, or we can do it as a executive session at the next board meeting. If you want to have a work session, we can schedule just prior to the regular board meeting, it's into your monitoring. And we discuss it.
Didn't we already discuss all that?
We have many times.
We already went through all that.
That's,
We did, but then it was presented to us. Well, it's up to you all.
Well, we have a policy, and I understand that. I'm not sure I'll change my position on it, but now that I'm a little bit curious, when it was brought to us, the policy's always been there.
Right.
And it's just now being brought to us because we're enforcing it.
True.
They didn't bring it to us, you know, as far as the union rep and stuff, but I didn't, you know, I'm willing to discuss it. I don't want to lose good teachers and stuff. I'm willing to discuss, you know, if you all feel it needs to be discussed. I don't know if I'll change my budgeting position or not.
Okay, well,
I think we should look into it.
again,
It's, I know it's hard to get money when you don't have it. But I'd like for them to be involved in that meeting, hear what we have to say, you know what I'm saying? What we gotta go through to change policy.
it's your house call, if you want to put it on the agenda or do it away. Or if you had a work session, you could invite them in to discuss it.
I think you want to do that in a work session.
let's do a work session before the regular meeting.
On the 17th.
An hour?
I know you're on an hour and a half maybe. 4:30.
Yes, 4:30.
A work session.
June 17th?
Yes.
It'd be on personnel, so it'd be on.
I mean, I think after he presented to us, I'm like Mr. Ferguson, I think we need at least,
Even if we come back with the same conclusion, I would like to see us.
right, at least, what is it, dear? So we'll at least have a discussion. I mean, you know,
4:30? 4:30?
4:30 on the 17th. Okay, anything else for items, future agendas? All right, future meeting dates, Monday, June 17th. We will have a special, well, not a special, but a work session at 4:30, followed by a regular meeting at 6 right here at the board office. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Berry makes a motion to adjourn, seconded by?
Second.
Mr.